All right, awesome. Okay, so we are going to talk about goals, why they're important, the perks of them. Um, did you happen to start a bucket list?
Uh-huh.
Okay, awesome. So tell me how the bucket list went.
But really good. I had done a class, um, oh, it's right before the end of school. I started it. And it was all about more family management because I know, I'd prayed about it a lot and I'm like, I've got to do this first and take care of me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will be able to be okay to do the business. And it helped me release a lot of stuff. And one of the assignments was to create. She called it her B list, but it's like a bucket list to list everything out of what you wanted. And so I had that pretty much all done. I've kind of looked through it and tweaked it a little bit. And so it was pretty easy.
Fine. So do you feel either then or now how it kind of opens up your heart to allow yourself to ask for other things?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, because I had something this week where one of my team members had really, really, really wanted to go to convention, but she decided too late. And so
Oh,
I just kind of put it out there in my mindset. I'm like, I need to find a ticket. And I went online, and within hours, I had a ticket for her.
wow. Cool.
So yeah, it was kind of really cool.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So, and that's those kind of stories you want to be sharing with your team members.
Hmm.
They will do the same things. It's so important that we get people to ask for what they want.
Yep.
Just, it's just critical. And, there's a scripture asking you shall receive, and goal setting is another way to ask for what we want. It's just really important that we do that. Okay, what I have found is setting goals is just that first step to making any positive change. It's really interesting. I have a group of women that I work with that aren't business goal setting minded at all. They
Hmm.
just simply are moms that get fried and tired and worry about everybody else before themselves. And I started working with these group of gals, and it's interesting. Two of them had been involved with a class where the whole idea is that you have, I think it was 6 goals a day that you were to do 100% consistent for, I think, 30 days. And if you missed one, even half of it for one day, you had to start the 30 days back over. And they were rather frustrated, but at the same time, they knew they wanted to be more consistent. And so I shared with them, we'll go over the tracker. I shared with them how I do the tracker, and you just give yourself a percentage at the end of the week and then keep working on improving that. And they just felt a lot more hopeful. I'm not saying the 30-day one wasn't, the 30-day one was designed for young men who had got trapped into a pornography addiction.
Mm.
And so when you're in something that heavy and that hard, you need something that heavy and hard to get out of it.
Right.
But as a mom who might have a sick kid or might have this or might have that, doing 80 to 90% is still rocking. Okay.
Hmm.
And versus 100% and you're beating yourself up and why should I even bother doing this? And so my whole goal is to help people reward themselves, not beat them, be kind to themselves, find systems for creating consistency and allowing themselves to set goals and open up to the things that they want. Okay. Um, so, like I said, bucket list, if that's not something you've done with your team members, that one is a universal one that you could give to everyone. That would be
Right.
the only one you could do. And say, okay, report your number, how many things are on your bucket list, and encourage them. It should be 50 or more.
Hmm.
And it's not should do's. It's not, I should be more like this. I should do that. I'm like, no, no, no. This is just fun. This
Yeah.
is, I want to go rock climbing. This is, I want to go to this country. This is, I want to try this hobby. Like, this is just fun stuff. Just put stuff down. Let the universe help you get it. Okay. And it's just so important. I kind of envision this little hole in someone's head that, like a little, um, like a tunnel down through their body. And when they're closed up and they're going like this and they're too scared to set goals because I might fail and it might not happen and it's going to feel terrible, and I'm already having a hard time with how I feel about myself right now. And so
Yeah.
it's just locked up tight. and we have them do a bucket list and start opening that hole. And I swear, more inspiration, more problem solving skills, more ability to brainstorm, it loosens up and allows that to happen. And I probably need a better visual than this hole in our head, but it's just, I imagine the flow coming from God and from, outside sources being able to come in so much more smoothly.
Yeah.
It's so important that people are able to think outside the box and brainstorm and, okay, well, I know I need to do this. This way doesn't work. What's another way I can do it? That's critical for having success in a business because things don't go smoothly. It's just
right.
It is. But it's okay. God might actually have a better plan for you, but you got to be able to get that inspiration to figure it out. So one of the things that I'm a big believer in, I did a class last night for youth, fireside here at the house. And I really believe that goal setting is just another way to, when it says to pray always, that it's one way to pray always. You've got that visual up, you've got that reminder, you've got them 16 places of the house, in your car, and your keychain, wherever it might be. And you look at that and you go, oh, Holy Father, please help me with that. And you just keep moving on. It's not a kneel down. It's not a big, amen, and just,
right.
It's just that heartfelt prayer that you can kind of keep saying. And when those things are down, I just can't believe how the resources that people need, how it comes together so frequently. 100% of the time, no, but something that's supposed to work out does. And I just love to see that happen. It's just amazing for people. And where you're a team leader, you've seen that happen. Okay, you didn't get to where you were without having these experiences. But the person who has never had these experiences, we have to do everything we can to get them to do this, because then they're much more likely to keep going. And when they get stuck again, when they have another stumbling block hit, you go, remember when this worked out? And you go back to that experience where they set a goal, it happened, the miracles came in.
Right.
When this happened, and help them go back to those feelings and those experiences.
Right.
That's just amazing. And same with our family or kids, anyone that we're working with. Okay. And the thing is, even if people don't hit their target goal, they usually hit higher than they would have without a goal in general. Okay. Let me look at my notes here. Okay, so do you have that tracker printed off?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so let's go over the tracker. And
is this the one you're talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yep. Okay. All right, like I said, I'm seriously considering redoing it just a little bit. Not that it will work any different, it just will be laid out different.
Right.
So we're going to fill it in because I do have people sometimes confused, or maybe there's a few things I need to explain better on it than I do.
Okay.
But the first two things on the bottom of the tracker that are really, really important that people do is that, first of all, they review their goals every day. For someone brand new, we're just getting them to add to their bucket list. And then, what would you love to see happen in the first 30 days? Maybe it's sign up their first builder. Maybe it's do classes. Maybe it's just pay for their own oils. It doesn't matter what their goal is. Don't try to influence them regarding what their goal is too much. Allow them to do what they want, but at the same time, follow up with them and make sure they have the activity on their calendar to accomplish whatever it is they say they want to do.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? Okay. So, but the first thing is they've got to review their goals every single day. It keeps up the excitement, it keeps up the momentum, and you need to do that for yourself. Don't take that for granted as a leader that, well, I know what they are, I don't need to do that. You need to keep looking at your goals on a daily basis, okay? The next one is daily inspiration. And I tell people all the time, there's two different sources for daily inspiration. There's your product knowledge, or any goal you're trying to achieve. Let's say it's weight loss, then you need to be looking at recipes and success stories. If it's personal finances, read books about people that have done, whatever it is, product knowledge or education based. And then the other one is more your personal development. For some people, they might read their scriptures, their Bible, their, something on a spiritual note. For others, I love Power Positive Thinking, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Success Principles,
Right.
Canfield, list a mile long. But they need to be reading, or I listen more than I read, to books on a daily basis. It's really important. Now, if they want to pick 5 out of 7 days, that's fine, or something like that, but it needs to be 5 or more, okay? And I just tell people, I'm not going to work with you if you won't make those 2 things a priority, because I know that you need that to stay, going.
Right.
And the nice thing about the daily inspiration, if you're a listener, is that there's a million things you can do and multitask with that one. That one shouldn't take time out of your schedule. You just got to make it a habit. It's in your car, it's while you're exercising, it's while you're doing dishes, it's while you're getting ready in the morning. There's a million little pieces of time in your day that you can do that at the same time.
Right.
So, you can go get the books from the library for free. Most libraries, you can download books. It's like there are ways to do this. You just got to take the time and make it happen. Make it happen and make it a habit. Okay. There's also things that people don't get too sidetracked and don't spend too much time on it. Blogs, websites, YouTube videos, but do something. The book is definitely the easiest and to listen to and multitask.
Right.
Okay. So then you've got 3 more boxes. So Amy, let me ask you, to 1, feel balanced and good as a mom, wife, all the other hats that you wear. And then for business goals, what are a couple activities that if you added in this week and were consistent with doing them, and you can pick, is it 2 times, is it 7 times? What activities would you like to start implementing and be consistent with in your business?
I think making sure I'm contacting my team in some way, or at least someone on my team every day.
Right.
And then for business wise, and then making sure that I do block some time to do more phone calls. I think I do a little bit too much as I, try to do the social media or the texting or whatever. I think I need to do more of the, actually contacting and talking to people.
Right. Right. And, one thing that is really interesting, I have a gal that's a big team leader for Beauty Control. And for those, you'll have those people who just, the only text. It just,
Yeah.
Just the way it is. But she's like, what's so cool, Michelle, is you taught me to, instead of, hey, will you do this? Or how do you, are you going to do this challenge? Ask them, would you like to do this? Or would you like to do this? She's like giving them optional closes for which of the things they're going to do. And when would you like me to follow up? This day or this day? She goes, it's amazing what I can get them to commit to, even though it is a text instead of a phone call. But when I'm using the tools via the text, it still is getting her farther than she was previously.
Right. And everybody likes to communicate differently. So if I have somebody that wants to text, then I'll just make sure I text them.
Right.
But I think
they love it. Their thing buzzes, and it's the high they get, and it's connected to you, and they love you.
Yeah. And I found too, if I send like a little inspirational quote, something that I feel like they need, that helps a lot too.
Yeah. And it is that's such a good point. It's so important that we don't only text them to follow up with them, but we text, it doesn't matter if it's email, text, phone calling, that once in a while, it's just, I thought of you, wanted to share something with you.
Right.
It didn't always be about following them. So that's a really, really good point.
Yep.
Some people just need to hear from us just to hear that they're loved.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
That's the only reason. Even spending time with our kids and stuff like that. Sometimes they just need to know we want to talk to them just because. Okay.
Yeah. So I think those are, and then really getting some classes booked for August.
Okay.
My one friend that's really wanting to build, we're wanting to do a back to school night class. So we want to start advertising that. We've got a date picked out. So now we've got to get the location. There's actually a free building that we can use on base. well, it's off base, but it's right in the base housing area that's off base. That's really nice that we can use for free. So it's just a matter of going over there today and getting it scheduled. And just little things like that have to get done. And then for church, I have something I have to get done this week that we're doing a ward walk to the temple. So I've got to finalize all that fun stuff this week. But
okay. Sorry. Okay. So on the right-hand side of your page, there's once a week activities.
Right.
That are for 5 points. Okay. Scheduling your room and your church activity need to go there.
Okay.
Okay. Your contact team members, you have 2 different ways to do this. You could either set a goal that you're going to contact X amount of team members or X amount of days you're going to spend contacting team members. So the different ways you would track that is, so let's say you're going to spend 3 days this week, that there's going to be an hour to a 2-hour block of team member time, phone calling time. Okay. You'd put 3 in the target box of your tracker. Okay.
Okay.
If instead you want to contact, let's say 15 team members, you'd put 15 in, and then let's say your time was on Monday and you contacted 5, you'd do 5 hash marks.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So there's 2 different ways you can use it. You can just check off a box, yes, I did it today, or you can account for how many times you've done something.
Okay.
Or it could be how many hours you worked out, or how many dollars you saved, or I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It can be anything. So with your contact one, make a goal on that one, and then put it in the target points, and then you'll mark it off as you go. Your blocks of time to call, how many different blocks do you think you'll need during the week?
Probably 3 to 4. I could probably, I can try to do it each day. I want to kind of see where I can get my schedule at. I mean, my kids are still on summer, so we do some stuff out of the house, and that's important for them. And so, and it works out really well that I am 2 hours ahead of a lot of my team.
Yeah.
Where I can put my kids to bed at 9 and it's still 7 o'clock where I can still contact. So I've got to figure out what works best for some people, nap time, whatever.
Right.
And go from there.
Okay. So it sounds like because you're doing that multiple times in the week. So set a goal as to how many blocks, how many days you're going to do a block of call time.
Okay.
So that crosses off all the goals you said. So you have 1 block left. That might be something personal. You want to do daily scheduling. It might be exercise. It might be something to do with your family. It might be, personal study, whatever it might be.
So I've got exercise on one of them. Because I want, I like to be able to do that at least 3 days a week. And so that's kind of my goal for there, is just be consistent with it.
Right.
And figuring out a time. Sometimes morning work and sometimes they don't.
Right.
So just about, making a commitment that this day I will do it, or at least 3 days a week.
Right. And that's what's so interesting is that, when we're self-employed, we can choose when we work, but the problem is so many people then don't ever make that choice and never work. And so you're right. We'll talk about weekly and daily planning here, I think, in 2 weeks. But yeah, things can move in your week, but you just got to do that weekly planning so that you do have a list of what you want to make sure you fit in, and then do it. Just fit it in. It takes practice, but it's totally doable. Okay. So decide how many of those. Okay. So on the once a week goals, let's say you have 5 in there. Each one of them are worth 5 points. So the target point would be 25 points, for example.
All right.
Okay. The other ones you're going to add up, like I said, either how many contacts you're going to make or how many times a week you're going to do things, put that in the target points. Then you go across the chart and add up the target points.
Okay.
Okay. Then as you mark things off, as you go through your week today, at the end of the week, you'll have an actual number at the very top of the sheet. You'll divide one into the other and you'll end up with a percentage.
Okay.
Okay. And that's what you want to keep track of, is based on your percentage, are you getting your goals accomplished? Are your team members moving forward? Are you doing more sales? Are you feeling more connected to your husband? Whatever your goal
Right.
is. Okay. I'm reflecting, okay, do I need to do this more, or I did it at 80%? Was that enough? Did that get me where I wanted to go? Okay. So it's just a way. And then what you'll want to do is set an alarm, whether you want to check it off in the morning or you want to check it off at night, but set an alarm for yourself to be consistent with marking it off. And like I said, I'm more than happy to be your accountability partner. If you want to text me at night and tell me how it went, go for it. You're totally welcome to do that. Okay. Because I turn my phone off, so it doesn't.
I do too. Mine goes off at like 9-10 o'clock and then turns back on early in the morning. So.
Yep. So that way it's, I'm not mad at anyone. Okay. So let me think here. Where am I at? Is there anything else on the tracker? Is there any questions you have on there?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think I've got it, and I'll see how it goes. If I get confused during the week, then I'll let you know.
Yep.
But I think it should be pretty good. I kind of started filling it out this morning. And so I think I was pretty on to what we needed to do.
Cool. Excellent. Okay. Let's see here. More of a daily inspiration. Okay, a couple other things. Oh, we haven't talked about motivational style yet. Okay, first of all, one other thing is I love to see people journal, especially their successes and, challenges they face up to the success. You have a big team. Not to panic as much as some. I mean, do you know what I mean? If something goes wrong or somebody doesn't sign up or you're like, I don't know, there's another fish in the sea, it'll be okay. Somebody who's on number 3 is panicking because they want a number 3 or whatever.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But journaling the successes so that when new challenges come up, okay, go back and read. This is something that worked,
Yep.
I can get through this too. So journaling is a great way to just review and go back to, when things work out. All right. So the last thing I want to talk about is called motivational style. And this is something that's really important to understand about yourself. Things will click. You'll think about different children and you'll go, oh, that's why they do that. And with team members. Okay. It's really kind of fun. So there's 3 questions. This is from a book called Get Motivated by Tamara Lowe. And it's just fascinating because it's so true. So let me tell you a quick story. So there's a gal, one of my clients, she is an author and she just self-published her first book. Well, before she literally last week, she's published this book. And before that, she was working on all the different things she needed to do to publish this book and to get the word out. And she had an editor and she had people that were really supportive of her. It's for youth. It's kind of like a Narnia or a Harry Potter. It's got the good message that goes with it, okay?
Right.
So she, we got talking and she was trying to decide if she wanted to work with me or not. And if this was going to be a good fit and if this is really going to help her. She's the tracker. She's someone who is very consistent in her actions. She has a list for the day. She gets it done. But she's like, Michelle, I got to tell you something about myself, though. She says, I know I am absolutely terrified of success, which is incredibly keenly self-aware. Like most people don't know that about themselves. There's a lot of that goes on. If I'm successful, what will somebody else say? Especially kids. You know how there's a person who's smart but gets made fun of? Well, who wants to get fun of? So they dumb down. Okay. So she's like, I'm really, really scared of success. And I said, okay, so tell me more about that. And she says, well, she goes, I'm not someone who wants to be in the limelight. So, I'm not interested in the interview and the attention and all that kind of thing. I'm not someone who's highly driven by money. I don't need,
Mm-hmm.
big fancy things. And those things just make me so uncomfortable that I don't want to think about those things. And I said, okay, great. I said, why are you doing the book? And she says, because it's going to help youth. Because I want to inspire youth. I want to help youth. And I said, okay, so let me tell you, I'm going to tell you about these questions and I'm going to tell you the end of the story.
Okay.
So the first question, which you're going to see this clearly in her, is you really want to understand this about yourself and about your team members. And the first question is, when you have a goal or a project you're working on, are you more likely to do it and do it thoroughly because of titles and money, or because it helps the world, changes the world? Which
Okay.
of those things, which one are you, Amy?
Probably to help others.
Change the world? Okay. So, and let me tell you, the change the world people are our Mother Teresa's, the, money and titles, that's more your Bill Gates. But the problem is, not the problem, the person motivated by money doesn't necessarily make them worldly, because we need the Bill Gates to donate to the Mother Teresa's.
Right.
To be some of the most giving people. So some people kind of like, ooh, what am I supposed to say on this? There's not a right or wrong. They both can be
Right. I
very
mean, there's times where I feel like I want the money stuff, but sometimes it makes you, well, am I just being greedy? And but I think I get more of a high of helping others than the monetary. That usually comes from it.
right. And the funny thing is, like, I can work with two people, same companies, same, plans, and I talk to one person about the money and titles and the other person about helping people. Okay, how many people are you going to help? How many people are you going to help? I can itch them up to the exact same place.
Mm-hmm.
Never once talk about the same motivation. Okay,
Right.
one person, okay, how many people you want to help? This other person, how much money you can make, and what title do you want to earn? Go for it. Doesn't matter. It doesn't. One is not that we're not trying to convince somebody to do it because it's going to help somebody. Okay, that doesn't work. People don't like that kind of guilt trip. You work on it whichever way it is. Okay, so it's just kind of fun to see. All right. So as you could see, my friend there was not money driven. She's not
Mm-mm.
driven by titles and money. She was driven by change the world. Okay. All right. So the next one is, do you like variety or consistency? Meaning, you want to get up the same time every day. You want your routine to look the same. You could do a line job kind of thing. You want variety or consistency. For me, I've been with 3 different direct sales companies, and none of them did I just flat out quit. I always had something I was moving on to. But I would find myself, I'd figure out how to sell something, and I would kind of get bored and not really care about doing it anymore. And I kept thinking, what is wrong with me? Well, one, it wasn't quite a challenge anymore, and I liked that challenge. And the other thing was, I realized I liked variety. So when I switched and started doing this and working with people, because I earned, the titles and the cruises and that with the other companies I was with. And that was, of course, fun. It was totally fun. But the thing is, I got bored and it wasn't that much fun anymore. And it amazes me to understand about myself that I like variety, because so many people beat themselves up and call it, you don't have consistency, you're flaky, those kind of things. So when you have team members and you are helping them make a game plan for themselves, and you find out that they're variety or consistency people, if they're variety, you have to help them set a different action for every day so it mixes things up. They're not going to go through a checklist of doing the same thing every day. They will put a bullet in their head and they will avoid your phone call. And when you decide what you are, and then you can be more understanding about the other person. So you got to see, for the variety person, those consistency people drive them crazy because they won't be spontaneous and they don't think outside the box, and they're not as good of problem solvers. Okay. But the consistency person look at the variety person and going, oh my gosh, why can't you just be on time and do what you're supposed to every day? And why do you have to mix things up? Why do you have to, get us out of our comfort zone?
Right.
But when you understand the two and you talk to the person in their language, okay, so you need variety, not a problem. These are the different things you should do in a week, but choose which days you're going to do them all on. You don't have to do them all the same day. And that's going to keep that person sanity and from hurting somebody. Okay. And like I said, I worked with scrapbook supplies. Luckily, there's a lot of creativity in the job. I'm like, I am not cutting paper for one more person, and I am tired of this. It's like it wasn't enough variety.
Yeah.
Now I talk to an insurance agent, and then I talk to this person. I talk to all sorts of different people now. All right. Let's see. And then the last one is, do you prefer to work alone or in a group? And this is really important to understand, because those that are groups, even though you live far away, you can still get them on this Google Hangout. They can see all those faces, hear all those different voices, have an audience to talk to. There are people who just feed off the group thing. Okay? Mm-hmm. When it comes time for work, I'm a work alone. My son, it's hysterical because he's homeschooled, but he's had a couple little classes here and there. They get the assignment. He takes his desk, moves it over to the corner, which totally breaks all the girls' heart. He does this work. He gets it done faster than everybody else, hands it in, wants to be done with it. He is alone. He's a triathlete. He go on a 45-mile bike ride by himself, and he is totally okay with that.
Yeah.
I carpooled with somebody. I was speaking at the LDS Singles Conference this weekend, and so I carpooled with somebody, and I was so frustrated because we got there and the wrong camera was in the car, and she didn't just pop up and say, well, I'll just run and get it. And I didn't have my car, and I had no way to go get it, and I was just like, it was just making me nuts.
Yeah.
Because I'm a work alone person, and I feel bad because I'm not antisocial. I love people. Absolutely
right.
Love people, and
I'm kind of the same way. I love working with people. I like my time alone.
Yeah.
To get something done.
Yep. I can go to a restaurant by myself. I can go to a movie by myself. That does not bother me in any way, shape. In fact, I kind of love it. But I also have, I have to homeschool, and so I have people on top of me all the time.
Yeah.
But it's so important. But then those people who love group things, that's where when you understand this about your team members, you make sure that those people who are the group people, even if you're doing it like this via Zoom, they have an assignment, they're involved, they get to be with the people. Like, you've got to do group people for those who feed off of other people's energy. But for that person that that likes to work alone, all you have to do is follow up with them one-on-one and let them do their thing on their own.
Okay.
Or go watch this video or whatever. If they come on the group call, great. They're probably not going to say a lot, and they're not going to get as much out of it as if they just went for a walk and listened to a book on their own. But it just kind of depends. And most people are none of any of these things 100%, but there's usually one that's heavier, 60, 70, 80%. Yeah, mm-hmm. I want the titles and money, but yes, I do love it when I see that somebody's been helped, or, vice versa. Okay.
Yeah.
So getting your team member, call them, those that you work most closely with, learn about these styles, because it will help you be such more effective leader. It's really cool when you understand these things about your kids.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my two oldest, they're opposite in every single area. Okay. So trying to consistently homeschool with them, I have one who's like, let's just do science all day long, and tomorrow we'll read all day long. And then the other one's going, no, let's get a little bit of every single thing done every day and it be the same,
Right.
Totally different styles. So, but it's amazing. It's so cool when you understand this about yourself. And when the other thing is, when you have that person who's variety and they appear flaky and can't quite seem to stay on task, you're not flaky, you just need variety. So let's set up some classes. Let's do the back to school night. Let's then do a baby care one. Let's do a cooking one. And mm-hmm. that they will plan that for you. They will be white on rice on that thing, because they get to do something that's different, but it's still with the same product.
Right.
So those are the kind of people I want to pick on to do those kind of things for you.
Okay.
Because they just need it. They totally need variety. Now, I would make sure that they don't spend all their time doing busy work. Okay, but you still got to get on the phone and you got to do this and
Mhm.
this. You got to have people to show up to it. But you can find ways to help people have more of what motivates them. So tell me, which of those three things, answering those questions for yourself, what's your motivational style?
I can see where I'm a little bit both in variety and consistency. I like to have some consistency, but I don't like to do the same thing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, you know, it can kind of be both. And then I do like to work alone, but I do feed off others at times. You know, when you're in a group, I enjoy that. I enjoy being around people. But then there are times where I don't. So that one's kind of hard. You know, for me, I'm finding it kind of hard. I can see my way self in both of them,
Right.
which I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
Yeah.
I know if I what I know I have a desire to be more consistent, and gain better habits and different kind of things because I like order.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then, you know, so I can see where you know, if I have a consistent daily schedule, if I know what I'm going to do, that helps me
Mm-hmm.
rather than, you know, if something comes up randomly, sometimes that can be hard. And
Right.
then, but I do like my quiet time where I work alone. I'm not very good sometimes at delegating to others.
Mm.
That's kind of one of the things I'm working on, letting go of stuff because I like to hold on to it and just get it done.
Right.
Um, you know, so I can see where I'm a more work alone sometimes person.
Right. Yep. So all those things you just take into consideration. And the thing is, where you balance the variety with the consistency is that daily and weekly planning.
Mm-hmm.
I have to consistently do this every week, but I can either change it up a little bit how I do it, or I can do it on a different day or a different time, or
Yeah.
I, find a unique way to do it, or, way to multitask or something. And that's how you get that balance there. Okay, so you've got a couple of assignments to do, and the sooner you do them, the more you get out of them for the week. Send me something unique on your bucket list, just something fun.
Okay.
It's cool to get to know you better. What you're going to use for daily inspiration. Do you have a book right now you're reading or something that you would pick up again?
Yeah, I've got a couple of them that I've been reading. I've been reading the ones, the book by David Bednar, um, Increase in Learning, that whole series. Have you done that one?
Mm-mm.
That one's really good. He has an Increase in Learning, Act and Doctrine, and The Power to Become. There are
Oh,
three different books that go together, and so that one's really good. And then I have another one that I really like. It's can't remember the author, but it's The Power of Starting Something Stupid. And I
really?
really like that book. It has a lot of good where don't think your ideas are stupid. Be thankful that you have, you know, a mind that's, you know, think out of the box. Don't be afraid to start something new, and be very, you know, it was really good. Be
Cool.
inspired by what's around you, kind of a thing. So
Do you know who that's by?
I can go get it. It's in my room if
Okay,
you
or
want.
I can Google it. It's okay.
Yeah, it's on Deseret Book. It's got a bright blue cover with red writing.
Oh, so this is a LDS book.
No, I don't think it is. Well, I mean, I found it at Time Out for Women last year.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay,
but it's The Power of Starting Something Stupid. I
that's
can't remember
funny.
his. I always forget his name, but it's really good.
That's awesome. I have a book that I've decided to entitle. So people will say I can sell ice to Eskimos, and I'm like, I wouldn't do that though. I'd sell coats. Why
Yeah,
would you say that about me? I have integrity. That's horrible. So like we keep playing with the name, start selling coats, quit trying to sell ice, or I don't know,
yeah.
something like that.
Too
Um,
funny.
if you're selling ice, go to the right person then, or I don't know, something, but something, I don't know, it's kind of a little joke at my house. So, but yeah, that makes you stop and go, start something stupid. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. It just kind of one of those things that I kept being drawn to it. So I'm like, I just got to buy it. So
Yeah,
I
I
did.
gotta read what is it he's talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, when you have our mindset and you're a business person, like you can laugh at that. You go, oh, I totally get what he's going to say.
Yeah.
Somebody who isn't entrepreneur minded or hasn't started a business, they're like, what?
I know. I had a few friends because we went on a big group, and some of them were like, "Why would you even buy that?"
Yeah.
But for me, it was really interesting.
Right,
So
exactly.
yeah,
I know, not everybody's entrepreneur minded yet. So,
no,
okay. So make sure you're picking those 3 short-term goals. You can drop the the daily inspiration and the viewing your goals when that's become consistent.
oh, okay,
You can have 5 totally different ones. You just do these until they're consistent, and then we can change goals. Or you
okay,
might get to the end and you go, okay, I contacted 10 team members, but I actually needed to contact 20. Or, you change it. That's why it's only a week, so that you can make changes as you go on
okay.
that. Okay, so make sure that you have a journal.
Yep. I actually have a great journal. I actually have it. It's kind of fun because it gives me variety, which I do like variety.
Uh-huh.
And so it's labeled, I have one section that's gratitude. So I just write in there anything that's gratitude. And then I have a section that it's my tantrums when I get really upset.
Oh,
I just
awesome.
I just leave it in there. And then the next section is my to-do list, things that I want to do.
Cool.
That I
Almost
need
a bucket
maybe
list.
some, yeah, that I need help with, or I want to write it down so that I can, remember. And then one of my favorite one is Pen Pal. And you write a letter to your Heavenly Father,
Oh,
and you write the whole letter. And when you finish, then you write a letter from him to you and just let the inspiration come.
wow.
That one's my
Cool.
favorite. It's amazing what will come out. And you
Right.
don't second guess.
Mhm.
So if it comes to your mind, write it down.
Right.
And then I have another section, it's questions. So if I have a question, I don't understand something, or I want to learn about something, I put it in there. And then my last one is kind of my shelf. So things that I really want to accomplish, but I know it's not right at this time.
Right.
Yeah. So that one's kind of fun. I
So
like having a
is that
variety.
like a book and you've got tabs, or is it?
Yeah. It's just a little book and I just put tabs in it. So it was just a
Will you
little
email
journal.
me those different sections?
I will. I will. But I have found that I really enjoyed it. I've challenged my young women with the Pen Pal one.
Oh,
And
cool.
it was a great way to get them understanding higher inspiration and where it comes from
Right.
and listening to it more. So that's been cool.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I really like the variety from it. That's where I got one of my classes that I took. That was one of her assignments, and that one's been fun.
Cool. Where did you take the class at?
With Amy Walker Consulting, so I worked with her on. It was the Family Mastery class. I really liked it. It was really good.
Oh, cool. Really
Yeah,
cool.
she was a lot of fun.
How long are her classes?
That one was a 6-week course.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of, you had assignments each week, which was really fun. So it gave it some variety, and
Cool.
it's something I can always go back and do videos and stuff with. But
Right.
it was really good. And this kind of just keeps me consistent with some of it and keeping my mind organized and getting out what I need to get out. And so it was good.
Do you mind me asking how much you paid for that?
It was $250.
$250. And did you do it online or?
Uh-huh. Yeah, it was online, and we had daily assignments. So like our first week, our assignment was to write down basically pick an emotion and write it out. And so like, I hate this about myself. I'm frustrated from this, and anything that comes to your mind, and just get it gone.
Uh-huh.
And then you did kind of like your 3-way communication between you and your Heavenly Father, and then the person maybe that you're upset about, and do that 3-way forgiveness.
Wow, cool.
And then it was, once you finished, you read everything you wrote down with feeling and just let it out. And then you burned your papers at the end. And that's something that you consistently do. I can tell when I'm getting frustrated with stuff. And so I'll just sit and write and get it out, and then just burn it and be done.
Wow, cool.
Yep.
That's fun. That's awesome. So did she use Skype or Zoom, or what did she use?
I can't remember what we used.
They were recorded.
Yeah, it was a live session. This was her first time teaching it on this one, so now it's kind of like, if you decide to do it, you can do it at any time. And so it was kind of fun to be kind of the first persons on board, and we kind of got to tweak a little bit, but it was really good. I really enjoyed it. It kind of, that was kind of my me. I needed to get me taken care of, and it helped me to get myself taken care of and my family. And it's been really a great tool too for my, I have a son that gets really angry and frustrated. And so now when he does that, he'll go in his room and he'll write it out. and then
Cool.
he just lets it go.
Right.
So yeah.
Awesome.
So it's kind of fun. I like, and I'm one, I like to learn from different people. I think everybody can give you something different.
Right.
And you have different fits. I debated on whether to do her class for business training, but I just didn't feel like it was as personal as I needed it.
Gotcha.
Because she's a very big company. So, I mean, you work with either this person or this person, and then every once in a while you'll get to work with her.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't feel comfortable with that. It was okay. And I'm sure it would have been great, but I needed something that was just more one-on-one personal, I guess.
Now, I'm trying to make sure there's a gal that's moved to Georgia named Amy. Is that her?
No, she lives in Utah.
She just moved from Utah to Georgia, like literally in the last 7 days.
I don't think she's moved. I don't know.
What's her last name again?
Walker.
Yeah, I think it is her.
Maybe they did move. I didn't know if they were moving out of state or not. But I remember she was saying they were buying a house and stuff, but I didn't think they were moving out of state. So
I might be thinking of the wrong person, but I think that's who it is.
Yeah. She's got short brown hair.
Yeah.
Has 5 boys.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I haven't chatted with, them for a while or kept on track. I've just been busy during the summer, but
Right.
I've really enjoyed a lot of her stuff. It's been really good.
Cool. That's awesome. I know I need to get this done. I was speaking at the LDS Homeschool Conference in Utah, and I've wanted to put together like a 3-month family home. I'm going to stop the recording, okay, because I'm like way off topic here.